Hey tankers, this is Zem from Shrike Gaming again, and playing a little M6 today. And in this video, I'd like to talk about map awareness. It's This video is one of those really illustrates the problem with players that do not pay attention to the map. As you notice, my map in the right hand corner down here is very large, and there's a reason for that. It lets me see the battleground so much better. You can actually see the actual individual houses and the folds in the land, and I would suggest increasing the size if you haven't already. Just simply by pressing the plus or minus key, you can increase your map size, and it does help. I mean, it definitely does help. You get so used to it, you don't even notice that it's the bottom corner of your map is taken up by the large mini map. But like I said, this video is going to be on map awareness, and you see in a lot of games, players will not pay attention to the map. They kind of lose focus on what's going on. And in this situation, the players on my team decided that they were going to push after they won a line, and which is okay. Don't get me wrong, but they didn't do a very good job of counting tanks and seeing what the enemy had and what we had and where the other enemy tanks are at. Now you'll notice as we start out here, me and Mill have pushed our two heavies down to the one line, and so we're not top tier, so we are trying to take control of this castle. Now you've noticed there's a huge, absolutely massive amount of red on the other side, right? And this massive amount of red is pushing our zero line. Believing right now there's currently only two tanks in front of that massive push that the enemy's team doing. Now, we had only run into two tanks here, and obviously we killed two of them, and there's a Ram 2 left, and they essentially going to be over and done with. This Panther M10 up here started bitching immediately as the game started. This was going to be a loss, and proceeded to camp like a bitch in the back. He's a dipshit. What are you going to do, right? So at this point, then we noticed very early on that we only had the Ram 2 to deal with, and we had spotted most of their tanks left, but two, and those two tanks, as I noticed, the Ram 2 and the E25 don't seem to pay any attention to. They continue pushing south, even though we have a very large concentration of enemy tanks coming toward us. Now, in this situation, we needed to knock out their eyes, and specifically that Leo needed to be shut down because of his ability to light our ammo and mill hill. Now we moved back, like I said, we all moved back and got in positions knowing full well that the enemy heavies were going to try to push us, and they were kind enough to do it. And now you've seen, like I said, you've seen the E25 and a Ram 2. Now we're down to just an E25. Now he simply heads for cap. It makes no sense, right? He has no backup, no cover, nothing, and we have a full push on going right into our cap. And so he's essentially down there by himself, and he's not doing us one lick of good by being down there. We definitely could have used his gun, and sadly he didn't feel he needed to be part of the game. And this is part of the map awareness I'm talking about. the fact that he just kept pushing south after we've won and not paying attention to where the enemy's at. And this is where a lot of tankers fail, is not paying attention to where the enemy's at. Now, he should have stopped. By the time he hit the F line, he should have realized that we were going to be going to need all the tanks that we could get right here to stop their push into cap. But he didn't. He kept going. He got himself out of position with no support, and it left us down at a high tier tank. Now, what I just did there, this is one of those map awareness thing, is that with that Cromwell sitting where he's at, it lets them keep us lit. And I took the chance that I was going to take a shot of damage from whether the SU-100 or the Swedish tank, and I took that into account, and I did have enough hit points to take a hit. So I decided that it was better to knock out their medium with those very good, with a good mobility, and allow us to keep their eyes off of us. Like I said, being heavy, and Panther M10 essentially being a dipshit as most of the game. The fact that he sat in the back corner as a top tier tank, and he's currently at 100% this far into the game, definitely did not help us. But like I said, once again, he didn't have much of, he didn't do much of anything for the game for us at all. So, but like I said, this map, this game illustrates why map awareness is important. The fact that we had tanks that kept pushing even though we had a threat at base, and they didn't help with cover fire or support fire. This could have very well ended differently. We were lucky enough that the enemy tanks continued just to push into us, and even for that example, on their side, by once again map awareness, they did not take into map awareness, realizing that a bunch of us hadn't been spotted yet, and assuming that they could just simply push in and win. Like I said, if I would have been on the enemy team pushing into that area, and I started taking hits, I think I would have backed off, but they didn't. They just kept pushing. And it's one thing about the map awareness: if you're not paying attention, you're going to get slaughtered. And this is something you see quite often in World of Tanks, is people just seem to ignore the minimap, and in doing so oftentimes loses games because they just think, oh, okay, I got a free run to base, or the enemies are not going to do what they look like they're going to do. They just seem to fog out from the minimap. And I don't necessarily know if that's just from inexperience or they just don't care. Either way, it's not a very good way to win a game. Like I said, in this situation, both me and Mill recognized immediately that we needed to go back to provide support, to try to keep them off for a cap, and I did. We worked it out. We ended up killing all of their tier 7s as they pushed into us. So, but like I said, the map awareness is some of the things that you learn as you play the game, obviously, and it's not always. Even with my 50,000 battles, I do on occasion simply just lose track of what's going on in the map. But it's not something you want to do on a regular basis. It's not something you want to do every game. Obviously, it's not something that's going to help you with your win rate. So, hopefully you guys understand what I was kind of rambling on about here. If anybody, like I said, once again, if anybody has any questions, comment below in the comments. If you're liking the videos, subscribe to it. If you want to come play with us, come on over to Shrike TeamSpeak and jump in with us, and we can platoon. If you have some questions, if you want to run a training room, or you need some help, once again, just stop on by our TS and come and play with us. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.